Australia may have very well qualified for the Super 8s. Now they have a chance to knock out their fiercest and most bitter rival in England. England are staring down the barrel, and if they do not win their 2 games, and they have to hope that Scotland suffer a massive defeat, then and only then they have a chance of making it to the playoff stages. Now, after the end of the Namibia encounter, in which Australia won by 9 wickets, and that too in a comprehensive margin, the question was posed to Josh Hazlewood. How are they making any plans to knock England out? Now, in this, Josh Hazlewood clearly mentioned, in this tournament, you potentially come up against England at some stage again. We have had some real struggles against them in T20 cricket. If we can get them out of the tournament, that's in our best interest and everyone else's. Now, Australia will be hoping that they can knock England out, but they are not going to use any unfair means to ensure that they make it. They are not going to have a repeat 25 years ago what had happened. Because if they try to deliberately manipulate, and now how will the ICC and the authorities determine whether it was deliberately manipulated, then Mitchell Marsh faces a big sanction. Because if the ICC authorities are found to that Australia are deliberately manipulating results so that England can go out, then Marsh could face a ban. Mitchell Marsh, the Australian skipper, will face a ban if they try to manipulate the result. The ban could extend to 2 to 3 games, and that comes under Article 2.11 of the ICC playing conditions. Now, what does Article 2.11 of the playing conditions explicitly state? Article 2.11 of the ICC playing conditions clearly states it is not intended to cover any corrupt or fraudulent acts. Such conduct is prohibited under the ICC's anti-corruption code and must be dealt with according to the procedures set out therein. The team captain of any team guilty of such conduct shall be held responsible for any offence found to have been committed under this article. So, it is intended to cover any corrupt or fraudulent acts, including any use of inside information and or related betting activity. So, under this broad ambit of 2.11, any result manipulation will see the captain getting banned, potentially for 2 to 3 games. Now, I mentioned earlier that there is a 25-year precedent to this. 1999. The Australia versus West Indies encounter. Australia batted deliberately slowly in their chase so that they could get extra points. Now, this was the situation. Pakistan and New Zealand had beaten them at the start of the tournament, and because of that, Australia, if they were heading into the Super 6 stage, they would have started with 0 points. They wanted New Zealand to be dumped out and West Indies coming in by beating them with such a margin so that they could be eliminated. But that didn't happen. Australia managed to win against the West Indies, but not at the required net run rate by which they had to do it. So that is why Pakistan and New Zealand managed to make it to the Super 6s. Australia were just left with 0 points. That's a different story altogether, that the plan did not come true, and because Australia managed to win the next 7 games on the trot to win the World Cup. Now, it started from that particular thing. 25 years later, will this Australian team have learnt the message? Maybe they would have. Australia versus Scotland, there is no doubt about the result. But we have to understand one thing here. If Australia somehow conspire to lose, then momentum will go totally against them. Scotland will become B1 even if they lose by a margin, say, of 10 to 15 runs. Australia, will they deliberately manipulate the result in their favor? It's happened in world sport. It is not the first time Australia doing something like this. Take the case of the disgrace of Gijon in the FIFA World Cup, 1982, where West Germany and Austria deliberately played out a 1-0 win so that Tunisia could get eliminated. Algeria, sorry. So West Germany and Austria played out a 1-0 victory, and because of that, Algeria were eliminated. And since then, all matches in the last league games, they happened simultaneously in the FIFA World Cup. In the case of cricket, maybe Australia will not ensure that this happens. Thank you so much folks for joining us for this video. Subscribe to Sports Today for all the latest news and analysis. Bye-bye.